The pirates. It had taken a bit spread the information. After they were sure the devices weren't bombs or going to do something weird, a random sample was cracked open and studied. It was exactly as Biren explained, a simple tripwire setup. After that, some of the girls put them back together and most of them were put back. At least the few that weren't just outright dismissed and tossed in a corner somewhere. But the information Biran and Kamari had on a reforming cell was interesting. Most interesting was a note that several of the girls inside it were Biran's daughters, the ones he couldn't persuade to come with him. This gave them all a rather interesting idea, or rather it gave Beck one, and when he started to pass it around, he found that he was far from the only one thinking about it. Biran was still living in Beck's barony though, so it was his issue to deal with. So he has his communicator in hand and it gets answered audio only on the other side despite Beck having it on visual. "What do you want? Is there some gap in the information?" Biran asks. "No, but," Beck begins. "Then we have nothing to speak about." He's cut off by Biran. "We would like you to have at least a chance to get your daughters out of there." Beck finishes and Biran goes silent. "I've already tried with them. They're lost. Their souls are already dead." "Death is not the end, Biran. You can still save them," Beck says, and there's a silence on the other side. "They shot me with plasma and called me weak," Biran says slowly after a while. "Is that really enough to stop you?" Beck asks, and there's another pause. "No," Biran says lowly. "I'll be there." With that, the call ends and Beck looks down at the communicator. He then grins. "This is going to be interesting." Dad? Who was that?" Kareem asks from behind Beck, and he turns to pick up the little slime boy. "A possible friend. He got scared and started trying to keep himself safe and accidentally gave everyone else a scare too. We're still trying to figure each other out fully," Beck explains, and Kareem just holds on to him. "You're about to do something dangerous, aren't you?" "Well, not dangerous for me. I'm good at these sorts of things. But for the other people, yes, very dangerous." Beck answers and Kareem seems to shrink a bit. Actually, he does shrink a bit on himself. "I'm not stupid. You found some of the... Yes, but they're outnumbered, outmaneuvered, and outgunned. And even if they were doing all of that to me, it would still be in my favor. I've been very well trained." Beck assures him. "I just got you. I don't want to lose you." "You won't. No matter how much the stupid may want otherwise, I'm not going to lose." Beck assures him, and Kareem cuddles up closer. Biran walks along the rooftop of the next building over. He's down and low on all fours to reduce his profile and let him overlook the building force surrounding the old warehouse. They were filtering in piecemeal, but he could recognize a fair few of them. He nearly snarls to see Lil Paw among them, looking like she just left some pampering appointment to clean up the mess. Wretched monster, fattening herself off the pain and misery of so many. And for what? Passing pleasure? Empty accomplishments? The chance to take more from more people? Pirates were all the same, self-perpetuating misery machines that brought only disaster and pain to all around them. There is a whisper in the axiom, and he turns to behold the red-garbed axiom adept. He jumps back in response with his fangs bared, but there is no response beyond a simple turn of the head to behold him. "You've come. Good," Franklin says, and Biran nearly hisses at the smaller being. Yea, those cruel space freaks may look like Trets, but there was something seriously off with all of them. This one far more than the others. "There is something wrong with you, human," Biran states. "Yes, I'm high-functioning autistic. It's a whole mess of challenges and issues," Franklin says plainly. "And you're in the military," Biran notes while also asking. "Yes," Franklin says, and nothing else. "And that's normal?" Biran asks. "No. Why is this the exception?" "I had a chance for the stars," A chance to be a part of something enormous and incredible. Part of the training involved learning an alien language. That was fascinating. Part of the training was learning alien technology. That was amazing. Then when we left cruel space and I finally got a taste of Axiom, it was worth it. Every cracked bone, every drop of blood, every ringing ear thanks to all the screaming. Every time I stuffed my face in my pillow and screamed myself unconscious from the stress, worth it, Franklin says, and Byron just stares at him for a moment before shaking it off. Intense psychotic training, got it. Biran dismisses, looking away from the psychologically damaged freak of nature and down to the numerous kill teams being prepped. He needs to know which one to speak to so he has time to try and reason with his remaining daughters. He didn't like Beck, but he was right. He had to give them at least one more chance. Had to be. We weren't sure if the galaxy would be sweet and kind or the stuff from your blackest nightmare. So we prepared for the worst while hoping for the best, Franklin notes. I see. What's your plan? We give them a chance to surrender and stand down. Let them know that we know who they are and what they're planning, and they're going to be watched for 10 years. Any lapse back to attempting slavery will be punished severely. But if they're willing to live peacefully, we'll let them, Franklin states, and Biran stares at him. You think they'll just stand down? Biran asks. No, that's why the people who are going in first are going to be visibly armed enough to clean out the entire warehouse, individually, and there's going to be 11 of us at least. Maybe 12, Franklin replies, and Biran doesn't even need to guess to know he's already being counted among them. I'm not one of you and yours. I will not be joining up with pirates no matter how much paperwork and nonsense you slap over your past misdeeds. Biran snarls and Franklin snorts. Look up the history of your own people, Biran. If we're looking at who's done something awful in the past, then the question of when the blood washes off becomes very relevant. How about personal responsibility? Things you yourself have done? Biran demands, having little, if any, desire to speak of historical responsibility or reparations or however things are going to be perceived. Okay, then let us also speak of redemption. What is the path someone must undergo until they are forgiven? Or is such a thing simply beyond a person? Franklin asks, and Biran growls as he stands upright to loom over Franklin like an angry mountain. No, I am not playing that game. I will not have you compare my children to your wretched pirates or yourself. I am here to get my remaining daughters out of that pit if I can, not bandy pointless philosophy with a monster. Biran snarls down at him. Franklin is utterly unmoved. Monster you call me, but what have I done? You've allied yourself with pirates, Biran snaps. So have you. Or are you here to attack us? Franklin returns. I saw those videos of you killing those women. I know it was needed, but you enjoyed it. You liked hurting them. Are you saying you're not looking forwards to this? That the idea of your claws sinking into the bitches that abused you and your family and then ripping everything out in a single movement doesn't bring a primal satisfaction? Are you honestly telling me you don't want revenge? For wrongs done to me and my children. That night was the first time you met those two. Biran reminds him, growing increasingly uncomfortable with all the subtly wrong motions that Franklin is making. He keeps suddenly moving and then stopping himself with nothing in the axiom or in his own emotional aura to indicate anything is going on. And Biran can see this human's emotions. It's very clear that he's focused but frustrated in general. And the last time either of them indulged in their sadism, the last time either woman haunted the nightmares of Vuxa, Franklin says before sighing, and suddenly there's a rush of differing emotions across the strange being's presence as he cracks his neck. I took pleasure in killing them because what they used Axiom for, something I was falling deeply in love with, disgusted me at a very personal level, and just watching a fraction of what they gleefully did to people was so vile it made me want to vomit. The only regret I have of the way I dealt with them is that I didn't do it sooner. Innocent lives would have been spared if I had. Biran snorts a little as he considers. So you have a plan for me in on this. What is it? We're going to give you the biggest plasma gun you can casually use, and you're going to speak to your daughters while surrounded by the dread husbands and Duchess Lilpaw. Last time you spoke to them, you pleaded as a concerned parent. Now you're going to order them as their in control and powerful father. Makes sense, Franklin says, and Biran nods. Yes. Now where? Biran begins, and before he can say anything else, the axiom wraps around both of them and inverts. They're suddenly in the middle of a large group. He's in, Franklin says before catching a large laser cannon he then throws onto his back and adjusts the straps. He then starts floating off the ground and starting to glow in a display of axiom power and control. For you, a voice to Biran's left says, and one of the smaller humans is there with a Canador-scale plasma rifle slung over his shoulder. He hefts it up to him one-handed and he takes the weapon. He looks against and sees that this one has a pair of strange bladed weapons that end in hooks. There is a crescent-shaped guard over the handle and spikes for pommels. Whatever those weapons are, they're brutal killing machines. Xuanggu, traditional weapons of Shaolin martial arts. I've been brushing up on my melee abilities. Can Justu's better Lu? Another shorter human shouts, and Lu spins to confront him. He also has a pair of weapons, but the curved sword are downright simple compared to the hooks Lu carries. Everything Japanese is a cheap imitation of Chinese brilliance, Ryu. Lu snaps back. An improvement, you mean? After all, made in China means that... Ryu starts to counter. We are not doing this, Beck shouts. We're in my territory, and we're ripping these weeds out by the root. You two can have your Asian pissing contest when we don't have 100 lunatics that need to be either shot or processed. Oh, it was just getting good. One of the pirates notes, and Beck gives her a hard look. If you're here for a show, then you can go home and wait for the after-action report. We have cameras running. There will be entertainment. But Beck is cut off when the head pirate, Agenda Lilpaw, stands up from where she is and towers to being just a little shorter than Biran. She'd completely vanished from his senses and now was in easy firing range. A twitch of the weapon and a pull of the firing mechanism, and it would be all over. For a long moment, he considers. He considers hard. He then pointedly aims the weapon away from anyone. He's surrounded. He has his children to think of. Any amount of being a hero or pulling off some impossible deed will have to be set aside. He has a job to do. He has his children to protect from themselves now. The pirate bitch sees his inner conflict and smirks as she walks over, far more graceful and sure-footed than most loping on all fours. Hell, she's graceful enough that without all the scars the monster no doubt keeps carving into herself, he would think her a dancer rather than a pirate. She smiles as she looks him up and down. Well, the crown jewel of the last band of mad women to attack my world certainly impresses, she says before smiling. She then digs into a pouch on her belt and pulls out an earpiece with microphone. If you're working with us, then you'll need to speak properly. It's as simple as it looks. Flip the switch on the side to activate it and the green button gives what you're saying priority. Biran takes the device and puts it on as he considers what to say so that he won't get shot. Actually, that might not be a problem. Most of these women are packing plasma. That's not a problem for him. Understand this. I'm not a murderer. I'm here to save my daughters. No more, no less. I don't care about the rest of the group. I don't care about you, and I especially don't care about any product or prize in there that you're hoping to loot. My children are my only concern. This entire block can burn down for all I care. Good to know, she says, completely unbothered by his announcement and unintimidated by his size and fangs. We're going in quiet first, then we reveal ourselves when we're already among them, heavily armed and behind their lines. While this happens, you get your chance to talk down your girls, and we use that as a distraction to cripple any computer nonsense they're up to. If things go well, then your job is to cover your girls and get the hell out of the warehouse with them. The earpiece we gave you will have you, and those nearest to you, flagged as friendly. So, if you have to, you can pick up your girls and run." Baran nods in response, and she steps away, allowing him to scan the surrounding crowds a little more closely. There are hundreds here, and those that aren't carrying a ridiculous amount of weapons are prepping mech suits. A few even have set up emplaced weaponry. Are they expecting to fight a small group of slavers or an entire clan of Crimson Hewers? He looks down at the weapon in his claws. Its sheer size would rate it as a cannon for most peoples, but the sheer size and strength of a Canador has it as a simple rifle for him. They just trust him with such a thing. Untested, unproven, outright hostile towards them, and they gave him a huge and deadly weapon. They're either very stupid or something is up, something he'll have to be ready for, whatever it is.